Hey there guys, how are you? It's John here with the FlickPick channel, and I don't feel like editing this video. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I seen the midnight showing of John Carter, originally titled John Carter of Mars in the original book series, but you know, the director and the PR people felt like that title's not good enough for broad mass appeal, so let's just shorten it down a little bit. And really, it doesn't bother me. I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. But anyway, yeah, today I'm going to do a one-take movie review, no cuts, and if I do a cut, it's because, you know, I stuttered and I didn't want to sound like a moron, so I cut it out to save grace. John Carter, the basic plot summary of the movie is it takes place in the late 1800s. You have this scruffy guy who's John Carter, and he's just kind of, you know, he's a stubborn, badass kind of guy. He's just out for gold. He's been through wars. He's killed people in his past. You know, he's done things. Why are my... the lights just flickered on and off. I tried to do a one... Why are you flickering? Okay, see? Now they just came back on. These damn lights. I think I have a ghost in my room. I think the little girl from Poltergeist is running through the light bulbs. If you guys seen Poltergeist, you guys might get the joke. Anyway, the story takes place in the late 1800s. John Carter's in a search for gold. He basically gets picked up by the cavalrymen, and they're like, hey, join our group. You know, you have experience. And he's like, no. And then from there, there's some Indians. He ends up in a cave, and then from there, he gets transported to Mars. And while there, the story basically unfolds. And let me say, the opening shots of this movie, which take place mostly in the New Mexico desert area, looked phenomenal. You know, you had the cavalry guys, you had Indians on horses. I don't know why, I've always really just enjoyed that kind of scenic view in a movie. It just really, something is very cinematic about that. And I think it was well filmed. So Once on Mars, by the way, I was very surprised this movie didn't do the generic thing where they make the whole Mars sky red, which by the way, it's Mars atmosphere is not red. When you go to Mars, yeah, next week when you guys go to Mars, the sky is actually blue. And long story there. But anyway, once there, he encounters a species that live on this planet, and I forget the name, but one of them is voiced by Willem Dafoe. They have 4 arms, they're green, and by the way, the voice acting by Willem Dafoe was great. It worked great with the character he played, who was kind of like the leader of this species of aliens that live on this planet. Very, I don't know, it sounded like the Highlander. I forget his name, the guy who played the Highlander, but that's who it sounded like. That's half the movie. I was like, who the hell is this talking? But on this planet, there's actually 2 groups of people fighting with each other, and let me, off the top of my head, one's called the blue group and the other one's called the red group, basically. And they're at war with each other, and this alien species is just kind of on the outskirts. They're not really involved, but they're just, you know, they're there. So basically, John Carter somehow gets into the mix with you know, the good guys versus the bad guys. And oh, by the way, Mark Strong, who plays kind of the main villain in this movie, what's with Mark Strong? He plays nothing but villains. Like, that's all the guy can do. I mean, hey, we need a bad guy. Jim, who do we call? Jim, wake up. Yeah, that's right. Mark Strong, that's who we call. I mean, let's see, Kick-Ass, Green Lantern, Robin Hood. I'm sure you guys can name 3 or 4 more. But anyway, yeah, there's this big plan to fool the other side. I'm rambling on. Anyway, John Carter was a pleasant surprise, I'll say that much. By the trailers of this movie, I was not sold at all. I was like, that looks generic, that looks pretty bland. The CGI doesn't even look that great, but while watching the movie, I was entertained, I was enjoying it. The CGI in the movie, the more you watch it during the film goes on and you actually see the aliens and the settings interacting with each other, it really sells itself to you. And I was actually pleasantly impressed by some of the CGI in the movie, especially the green aliens with 4 arms. I think most of the animation was done with mocap work, so I really came across kind of fluid and human-like. Not human-like because they're aliens, but it looked realistic. How's that for you? Anyway, the guy who plays John Carter is Taylor Kitsch, it doesn't matter. He played the cheap version of Gambit in Wolverine Origins, and he's also in the upcoming Battleship movie. Yeah, is everyone excited as I am? Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's continue. What was I going to say? These lights they're blinding me now. One Take Wonder is failing as I stare off into the distance. Anyway, the acting in this movie was good enough. You know, there was some epicness to the movie. I will say there was never that one time where I got goosebumps because I was like, oh, that's badass. Oh, that was just amazing. Yeah, there are some moments where John Carter does kick some ass, but nothing ever really stood out compared to any other movie you've seen. And the second half of the movie, there are points where it kind of slows down and hiccups a little too much, or it was just like meh, just one meh moment after another. And the first half is definitely the better half of the movie, and the second half kind of slows down a little too much. And there's a few parts that are kind of become a little lackluster, but overall a pleasant surprise. I think this movie, the trailers didn't do this movie a lot of justice. I really liked how the beginning of the movie and the end of the film kind of match up with each other, and there is some kind of humanity rather than just, you know, a Mars battle with aliens on it. You know, it does kind of bring itself back down to Earth, figuratively and literally, which is a nice touch. I enjoyed the movie. I honestly thought I was going to hate it, and I came out thinking, hey, that was fun. I wasn't completely bored. Some good action, some good acting. And by the way, I'm not familiar with the original book series, which came out in I think the early 1900s. So I'm not quite sure if you guys have seen the movie yet, or if you guys know a little bit something about the original book series. I'd like to hear your thoughts compared to the movie, to the book, down below. I am curious to know if there's any major differences there. And but I will say this about Disney. They're reaching out and they're trying to grab a new franchise because they're like, Pirates of the Caribbean's coming to an end. We got to find something new. A few years ago, they tried something new. It was called Prince of Persia with Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was just an awful, bland mess with sand in it. But I will say, John Carter, I'm going to call it John Carter of Mars. How's that? I would be interested in seeing a sequel to this movie. I mean, it has a really good premise. I'm curious to see if he just, you know, goes back, I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes. Hopefully more battles ensue. And by the way, a lot of people are saying this is basically like Avatar. And when you sit down and think about it, yeah, I can agree with that. But you know what? There's a saying, there's only about 20 to 25 different storylines for every movie. You know, you can change them up a little bit, but overall, that is the same storyline you're going to see. There's only 25 different variations of it. And if I'm losing you right now, let me not explain any further, but I will just talk about Avatar compared to this movie. You do have a rough guy who's taken out of one element and put into another one, where he eventually finds himself in the new environment, and he realizes he's happier there because he doesn't belong where he originally was. And while there, in that new environment, he finds a love interest. He falls in love, he fights a battle, and he basically wants to stay there. So yeah, I guess it's a lot like Avatar, but you know what? That's fine by me. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the movie below, and especially if you guys, like I said earlier, if you guys want to tell me some differences between the original books and this movie, I'd be interested to know. But anyway, a fun, fascinating movie. I think it's worth watching at least once. I would give this movie I'd give it a B-, and if you guys want some numbers thrown at you, I'd give it a 6.5. How's that for you? Anyway, guys, oh, by the way, the 3D in the movie was okay. You know, if you don't want to watch it in 3D, I don't think you're going to miss anything. There was some depth to it, but nothing really worth the gimmick of 3D. So, anyway, guys, I'm John with the Flick Pig channel. Sorry if I rambled on a little too much, like I'm currently doing, so I'm going to shut the hell up and let you guys get back to your life. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.